Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. Today is Thursday, and wow, what an amazing morning it's been. My hope and expectation is that your day is going absolutely amazing so far. If not, we're gonna see if we can change that for just a moment, at least while we're on the show. So please do me a favor. If you're coming on live, hit that like button, hit that share button, tag Lolly, Dolly, everybody, and let them know that your boy, Ramon Preston, my squad, we are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we're already rejoicing and we're glad in it. I'm super excited about what we're going to be talking to you on today, because I want to show you the competitive advantage of being a coach and a consultant. So whether you are in the coaching or consulting space or not, it's important for you to know what the competitive advantages are and how you can leverage those competitive advantages to make your business, to make your financial dreams a little bit better. Okay, so do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, tag somebody, let them know that the Ramon Preston Show is live, and don't forget to put in the comments what city you're watching me from. All right, put in the comments what city you're watching your boy from. For those of you that are coming on, joining us live, I want to say thank you so much for supporting the Ramon Preston Show. Thank you for just being a part of our community. Whether you are a member of our online community, whether you are a member of our educational community or our coaching community, or maybe you're a client on some level, I want you to know that we appreciate your support. We appreciate your participation, your engagement, and every time you like, you share one of the videos that you see on social media, every time you comment, it does our company, it does our community well. It actually makes life better for you, because you are promoting and perpetuating what we should all be promoting and perpetuating, and that is the freedom for our people, not just spiritually, because I definitely want us to be spiritually free, but also socially and economically. So again, hit the like button, hit the share button, tag somebody, especially if you know somebody who's in the coaching space, who is a consultant. Maybe they have courses that they are trying to sell and make money from. Maybe you know people who are being coached or consulted when it comes to their business and finances. It's going to be good for them to learn these principles and concepts as well. And again, put in the comments what city you're watching me from. Every time y'all put in the comments what city you're watching me from, I get a thrill to go back and see where you're watching us from. So I appreciate all of you. We get people from all over the United States of America, and even some people in other parts of the world who watch the Ramon Preston Show. A lot of times when I talk to people, whether they are calling in, whether they text, whether they email us, or even people who inbox and DM us, and I get a chance to talk to you, and you tell me where you're from and where you've been watching the show from and how long you've been watching the show, I just appreciate it, because it's letting me know, it's letting my team know, it's letting our community know that we're making an impact. So again, thank you for joining me today for the Ramon Preston Show. Just in case you don't know, I want to officially say I'm your host, Ramon Preston, of the Ramon Preston Show, every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon. I come here live to give you information that I know you can use to properly start and structure any business, any ministry, any income stream. So that's what our business is about. We specialize in helping people start, structure, so that at some point they can scale their business, their ministry, their income stream. So you don't necessarily have to be an entrepreneur or business owner to learn from me or to do business with me. But if you have a dream or desire to build a business, if you have a dream or desire to create a legacy, at some point it's going to require you to understand the fundamentals of business ownership. But today, on today's show, I'm going to be talking to you about the competitive advantage of coaching and consulting. So let me begin how I began yesterday on our show, because I talked about coaching and consulting as well. But let me begin by saying that one of the reasons why I am talking so much about coaching and consulting and education is because this industry as a whole, so I'm using the word coaching because coaching to some extent encompasses some level of consulting and some level of training, although they're different industries. But when you look at the coaching industry as a whole, there is an element of consulting, there's an element of education. So the coaching industry as a whole, it is at this point about a $15 billion a year industry. That's a big industry. That means when you put all the coaches together, no matter what type of coaches they are, life coaches, business coaches, financial coaches, health coaches, wealth coaches, relationship coaches, spiritual coaches, whatever the coaching is, when you put the coaching industry together as a whole, it generates about $15 billion a year. Experts who study industries, they are projecting that within the next 3 years, this $15 billion coaching industry can very well become a $30 billion coaching industry. So again, if you're already in the coaching space, if you got a coaching business, you went to school, you got a coaching certification, you're a life coach, you're a health coach, or you might be doing something in business, but you want to start moving towards coaching people and mentoring people and educating people and consulting clients in that space. It's important for you to know that this industry is going to probably double within the next 3 years. And you have an opportunity now to properly position yourself, not just structurally, but properly position yourself operationally in the marketplace so that you can take advantage of the competitive advantage you actually have. And so today I'm going to share with you 3 of the many. There are so many competitive advantages that coaching and consulting has, but I'm going to just share with you 3 of the most important competitive advantages. And again, once I share this with you, I want to challenge you to really take a look at what you are doing in business so that you can start seeing that whatever it is that you do in business, there is a coaching element to it. There is a consulting element to it. There is an educational element to it. And if you build or rebuild your business in a way so that you can integrate coaching, consulting, and education into your business, it will not only give you a competitive advantage, but it will probably give you the financial resources that you need so that you can start doing some of the other things that you're doing. Because most people that I talk to, whether they coaches, whether they are just entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, W-2 employees, most of the people that I talk to, they have other things that they want to do outside of the thing that they're doing. Are you one of those people? Like whatever you do right now in your job, whatever you do in your business right now, it's probably something you might like to do, you might love to do, or you might not even want to do. But there's probably something else that you have a dream or a desire to do. Like one of my biggest dreams and desires is really tied to acquisitions. It's tied to acquisitions, whether it's real estate acquisitions or business acquisitions. You know, I want to really move into that space. I want to become a syndicator, a crowd fund manager, a hedge fund type person. That's what I really want to do because I want to help a whole lot of people and I want to show people how to pool their resources together. Okay, but until I get to that point, I got to be able to do something today that's going to pay the bills. I got to be able to do something today that I can use as a stepping stone or as leverage to help get me to where I ultimately want to be. And so I think coaching and consulting as an industry and even as a business, if you build it correctly, it can be the best competitive advantage you have. All right. So if you are a coach, or if you desire to be a coach, I would love to know what area of coaching you are actually in or you would like to be in. Is it life coaching? Is it financial coaching? Is it business coaching? Is it health coaching? Is it relationship coaching? Is it spiritual coaching? Or is it a little bit of all of the above? Okay, but even if it's a little bit of all of the above, we want to try to figure out how we can narrow it down to maybe the dominant areas of coaching, and you may have some subordinate areas of coaching, but we want to look at those dominant areas of coaching. So let's start this conversation. What are the competitive advantages of coaching and consulting? Well, I just shared with you one of the most important competitive advantages, which is not even on my list of the 3 that I'm gonna give you. But if you look at the coaching industry as a whole, it's gonna double in the next 3 years. And it is already projected that coaching as an industry, as a business, will surpass education as an industry and business. So if you look at how people are creating courses and they're providing certain educational services, it's a big, big industry today. Well, coaching is going to surpass that because people are starting to realize that coaching has more of a competitive advantage of education and anything else. So I want to share with you 3 competitive advantages of coaching and consulting. And don't forget, I want you to put in the comments what area of coaching you want to be in, or what area of coaching are you in? Because if you're looking to be in an area of coaching, or you're already in the area of coaching, you're going to have to learn a lot of the ins and outs of that business, not necessarily of the life part of coaching or the relationship part of coaching or the health part of coaching or the business and financial part of coaching. We understand that you have to learn those adjectives, but just coaching as a whole, you've got to learn the ins and outs of the business behind it. You got to learn the ins and outs of how the coaching industry and business works, so that when you do integrate it into whatever you currently do right now, you can leverage it and get the most results and the biggest splash from it. I think we can all agree on that. Whatever we do in business, we do it because we want to get results. We want to make an impact. We want to create a splash. We want to give people an opportunity to change their lives. Well, guess what? There's a right way and a wrong way, all right, for us to do it. So what are the competitive advantages of coaching and consulting? Competitive advantage number 1, coaching and consulting forces you to document the details of your journey and mark each milestone along the way. So I'm giving you kind of like an abbreviated version of everything when I write, so that I don't just get stuck writing. So coaching and consulting forces you to document the details. This is what coaching and consulting forces you to do, and this is a competitive advantage. It forces you to document the details of your journey. What is your journey? How you got to where you are, how you did what you've done, how have you accomplished what you've accomplished, how you overcame certain obstacles. So it forces you to document the details of your journey and mark each milestone along the way. All right. So now what happens is, the moment you assume the role of a coach or a consultant, you by default assume the responsibility to start documenting the details of your journey. So now you have to make sure that whatever it is that you have done, that you are documenting the details of those things, because as a coach and a consultant, what is your primary responsibility? It is to document these details, mark your milestones, so that you can share it with other people to show them along the way. This is the very basis or essence of being a coach and a consultant. So if you have had certain experiences in that area of business, for me, my coaching and consulting is primarily centered around business. So I show people how to start their businesses, how how to start their holding companies, how to start their divisions and their subsidiaries, how to file and form their paperwork, how to draft their operating agreements. I show them how to structure their businesses with the right systems and processes. I show them how to price their products and services, how to take their ideas and filter them to become products and services. Here's what I'm doing. Essentially, everything that I did to get to where I am. Because I know how it feels to be at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey and don't know anything about where you want to go and how you're going to get there, other than the fact that you got to get there. So when I started as an entrepreneur 20 years ago, I wasn't thinking about being a coach. I wasn't thinking about being a consultant. I don't even know if I was really thinking about being an educator. I was more concerned about getting educated myself on how can I start my business correctly. I was doing ministry as well. I wanted to know, how can I start my ministry? What is the proper paperwork that I needed? How was I supposed to structure it? And I used to think, like, where do I find this information at? Like, I couldn't find this information anywhere. And again, 20 years ago, it's not like you could go to the internet and just find this information. It wasn't like people had courses and programs and products and packages put together. At least I did not know about it. I'm sure somebody had it, but it just was something that I wasn't aware of and I didn't know where to find. So once I started taking upon the mindset that, wow, when I come up, I want to help other people come up. When I succeed, I want to help other people succeed. When I figure it out, I want to help other people figure it out. And that started helping me to understand that what you are essentially wanting to do, Ramon, is you want to coach. You want to consult. You want to educate people. You want to make their entrepreneurial journey, their business building journey, their financial freedom journey a little bit easier. Now, maybe yours is the same. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's in a specific area of business. Maybe it's cooking. Maybe it's cleaning. Maybe it's apparel. Maybe it's designing. Maybe it's a little bit of the 2 or 3 things that you feel like you've experienced and you've succeeded in and you're pretty good at, and you want to blanket it with business coaching. You want to help people from point A to point Z. Well, guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to take the most important competitive advantage you have and start documenting the details. All right? So here's what you need to do. If you're taking notes, I'm giving you the game today. And you ain't even coming to my boot camp yet. Maybe you are scheduled to come to my boot camp. But if you're not scheduled to come to my coaching boot camp, imagine how much more information you're going to get if you had access to my online coaching course and you came to my one-day coaching boot camp. That's just a shameless plug. Let me get back to my first competitive advantage. Number 1, it forces you to document the details. That's what we just put here. So how does it force you to do that? Again, if you assume the role of a coach, if you assume the role of a consultant, you also assume the responsibility to have something to give people. You ain't gonna be no coach and don't have nothing to give nobody. If you say you're a coach or you wanna be a coach, you want to be a consultant, you want to educate and train people and teach them certain things, well, that means you have to have some details to give them. And the only way you're going to have details to give them is if you document them. So you don't necessarily have to copy and paste somebody else's details. What you have to do is think about, what was the process that I went through just to get to where I am? I always tell my students and my mentees who are in my mentorship program this: don't wait until you get to Z. Let's say if we were tracking the alphabet, don't wait until you get to point Z to start sharing with people A, B, and C. So let's say if you got through A, B, and C and you're on D. A lot of times you're thinking, man, I can't do nothing for nobody. I can't coach and consult and educate nobody because I don't know how to get to Z yet. Well, you know how to get to D. So now your coaching and your training and teaching and consulting can be based on A, B, C. There's a market for A, B, and C. Am I making sense to you? So if all you know how to do is get through point A, point B, and point C, and you're at D, you can build a whole business around A, B, and C. Okay, of course, if somebody comes to you and they're at H, you really can't give them the game at H. To some extent you can't, because you haven't gotten to H. But I do know people who are consultants who have never built a big business, but they help people who have big businesses. Tax consultants, real estate consultants, lawyers, and other experts. They're in the business of helping people who are way beyond where they are, but they assume somewhat of a consultant role. Okay? So here's what you need to do. You need to create a step-by-step process. All right? This is how you start documenting your details. You need to create a step-by-step process. This is how you start. Create a step-by-step process for what you do, okay? Create a step-by-step process for what you do, how you do it, and the expected results from it. So again, if all you have ever done was gotten through A, B, and C, then you need to create a step-by-step process for how you get from A to B, B to C, and what are the results? How did you get from A to B, B to C, and what were the results? That's all you need to do. Because a lot of times you're trying to build this whole A through Z business out, but what you don't understand is most people you do business with, their business is not already A to Z. You may catch them at B and they're just telling you about A. You may catch them at H, I, J, and they just telling you about D, E, F. So it's kind of like what I heard one person say one time. As long as you are in front of the people you are helping, you're going to always have a demand for your services. Does that make sense? So you always have to be ahead. So don't try to be this perfect person and think that just because you have not excelled to your Z that you can't help people along the way. So you need to document the details. This is a competitive advantage of coaches and consultants, because most people who do business today, they not thinking about this. They not thinking about this, because I used to, overlook this. There was a time in my entrepreneurial journey, in my business building journey, I wasn't thinking about documenting no details. I'm just thinking about trying to go get money today. I'm just trying to figure out how I can pay my bills. I'm just trying to figure out how I can get through whatever the trouble is that I'm going through in my personal, financial, or professional life. So I wasn't really thinking about documenting the details. But once I elevated my mindset to assume the role of a coach and a consultant, it then forced me. That's why I said it forces you to document the details. Now I needed to document the details because I have people who need what I have to show them what I do, how I did it, and the results I got from it. All right? So that's the first competitive advantage of coaching and consulting. I know I'm giving you some game, especially if you're a coach or a consultant, because most likely you don't even know like what types of services you should be providing for your clients. You don't even know what types of packages you should put together. What types of programs should you begin producing to give to your people? Well, they should all be based on details that you have documented. Things that you know you do, things that you know you're good at, and the details or the steps on how you actually did them up to this point and what were the results. So I always tell people, if all you've done was sold one thing, all right, let's just say all you've done was sold one product. All you've done was sold one service. That's all you've done. If the only thing you've ever done was sold one product or provided one service, Document the details of what all went into you selling one product. What are all the details that went into you providing one service, and how did you do it, and what were the results from it? This will be your competitive advantage. All right. Number two, the second competitive advantage of coaching and consulting is it allows you to build value around your experiences. It allows you to build value around your experiences. So I'm going to just write down build value. So when you are a coach or a consultant, especially if you have utilized the first competitive advantage of documenting the details of your experiences, right? Or of your journey, and you marked the milestones, meaning that you've created a step-by-step process for what you do, how you do it, and the results anybody can expect from it if they did what you do and how you did it. All right, let's just assume you've done number one. Well, number two is going to be a game changer, because now number two, second competitive advantage, is that it allows you to build value around your experiences. See, it's hard for me to build value around my experiences when I haven't documented my journey, when I don't know the details of my journey, when I have not marked the milestones. But when you can document your journey and you know all the steps that it took for you to get to where you are, and you see it on a piece of paper or on a digital platform or on a landing page or in a video series, wherever you put it, it gives you this feeling that you are way more valuable than you think you are. Most people cannot value what they don't see. So if I give you an empty bag and I tell you that this bag is $1 million bag and it has the ability to hold $1 million and it is yours, if I give you that bag, no matter how many times I tell you it's $1 million bag, it can hold $1 million. If it ain't no money in that bag, you thinking, bruh, you done fell off your rocker, because it ain't no money in it. So how is this worth $1 million? Now, if I gave you the bag and I have the $1 million in the bag, you have something visible, something tangible, something real to associate and validate what I'm saying to you with. Are you understanding me? So the second competitive advantage of coaching and consulting is that it allows you to build value around your experiences. So now I can look at all of the things that it took for me to get to where I am. This is what I've done. This is what I've done. So I have educational courses for business and ministry. I have programs for coaching and mentorship. I have services that I provide as a consultant. I have an entire university training platform. I have different single courses. I have single programs. I have one-day events. I have books. I have curriculum. I have content. So I have all this library of information and curriculum and content. I have licensing programs, certification programs, mentorship coaching programs. But all of this stuff has come from me documenting my details. And what I did was I looked at my body of work, everything that I went through and experienced to get me to where I am right now. And I decided to use it to build value around my experiences. So how do you build value around your experiences? Now you start the process of creating products, services, programs that enable people to get where you are. You understand what I'm saying? So like my signature educational program is called The Millionaire Blueprint. So it is a training program. It is an educational program that shows you all the most important components that any person would need if they plan on becoming a millionaire. Because I've been through that same process. I have those experiences. I documented my details. I marked my milestones. They essentially collectively have created value for me, and I took those experiences and I created products. I created services. I created programs. And so now I'm able to build value based on experience that I got receipts for. So it's hard for you to do this when you don't have number one. But when you get number one, it's easy for you to get number two. I hope I'm making sense to those of you that are watching this live. And I really hope all of you who are desiring to be coaches and consultants, I hope you see the value in what I'm saying. I really hope you see the value in what I'm saying. Of course, I would love for you to get access to my coaching program so that you can start learning these concepts and principles. And I would love for you to join me for my one-day event. All right. But guess what? If you don't, at some point, if you're going to have a competitive advantage in the marketplace, no matter what business you're in, I keep telling people, just because you're not in the coaching business or the consulting business or the educational business, it doesn't mean people who are in that business are not your competition. They are your competition. All right. They are your competition, because people who are in the coaching business, they're consultants, they're educators. They are the ones who are working with your competition. So they are essentially your competition. Am I making sense? So think about the business you have. Now, if you don't have a coach, a consultant, an educator that's helping you, or you're not in that space, in that community, and you don't understand the concepts and principles that I'm talking about, think about somebody who is your competitor and they have that information. Well, their approach to business is going to be different than yours because they're getting information that has given them more value. This is why you see people that are on social media, they are doing business primarily on the internet, and they are crushing it because they understand something that most people in that same business don't understand. In other words, they have a competitive advantage. All right. So number two, the second competitive advantage of coaches and consultants is that it allows you to build value around your experiences. How do you build value around your experiences? You take your experiences and you create products. You take your experiences, you create services. You take your experiences, you create programs. Most people who get into business only create products and services that are directly associated to the thing they're selling or to the thing they can do. So for example, if somebody can paint, they're going to start a painting business and they're going to provide painting service. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. If somebody likes shoes and hats and apparel, what they're going to do is start an apparel line and they're going to start selling shoes and hats and hoodies. But what they don't understand is they don't have enough value in the marketplace to have a competitive advantage over everybody else who paint, over everybody else who sell hoodies. The reason why they don't have a competitive advantage because they're not looking at what they do in business through the lens of a coach and a consultant. All right. Number three, this is my last competitive advantage for coaches and consultants. Number three, coaching and consulting repositions, this is a big word, you, your business, and it repositions your brand in the marketplace. This is the third competitive advantage of coaching and consulting. Coaching and consulting literally repositions you, this is you, it repositions your business, and it repositions your brand. So there's a lot that I can teach you just on this one competitive advantage. I don't have time just on today's show to get into all the details of this one competitive advantage, but to say the least, let me explain to you how repositioning these three areas are competitive advantages. Because number one, if you assume the role of a coach or a consultant, you're no longer just the guy or the gal that's trying to push a product or provide a service. All right? It doesn't matter what it is. It could be selling cupcakes. It could be repairing cars. It could be selling shoes. It could be cutting grass. It doesn't matter what the business is. When you are knowledgeable about repositioning yourself, you are not going to just go into the marketplace with an operational business. Because your operational business is probably in the most competitive space on the planet. Everybody cuts grass. Everybody paints. Everybody washes cars. Everybody bakes cakes and caters and, dry cleans. Like any business you name, everybody in the world doing this stuff. You get what I'm saying? So there's really no competitive advantage just by having an operational business. But if you reposition you and you assume the role as a top line expert, somebody who is providing not just a service or selling a product through an operational business, but you are an individual who's actually giving people information up here. You're giving people expert support. Like all this stuff up here, you are the go-to person. You're the man, you're the woman. All of a sudden, it makes whatever you sell and provide through this business easy, because you ain't just trying to push the product. You ain't just trying to provide the service. You are actually repositioned to be the go-to person, and this should be where your brand is being built. Your brand needs to be built up here. Your brand doesn't need to be built here. Your business needs to be structured in a way that this is actually two different types of businesses. I'm giving you free game today. And one of the reasons why I'm giving you this free game is because everybody's saying you're in a recession. Everybody's saying that inflation is going through the roof, and now people have more month than they have money. There are 32 million businesses in the United States of America, and most of these businesses don't even break even. Most of these businesses lose money. So that means if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, you are probably in the highest percentile of business owners and entrepreneurs who not only don't make money, but you're probably losing money, meaning that you're taking money from a job and you're putting it in your business because you can't afford for your business to run on its own. So what exactly are you going to do? Are you going to stay stuck? Are you going to continue to perpetuate the same cycle? Are you going to give up? Or are you going to do what a few people in times like these do? You're going to elevate your mind and accept the fact that there are things that you have experienced that give you a competitive advantage. There are things that you have accomplished that give you a competitive advantage. There are ideas that you have for products and services that are not just for operational businesses, but they're for coaching and consulting and educating so that you can help people that ain't even where you at get to where you at, and y'all together can get to your next level. So again, if you are a coach, if you're a consultant, an educator, or if you're looking to get into that space, I want to urge you, I want to challenge you. I'm asking you to really consider allowing me and my team to help you put a six-figure coaching business together, okay? So here's what I'm offering. I have a program called the RP Coaching Bootcamp. This is a program. It's a special program. It's very exclusive, and it's something that I just introduced to my community, because prior to now introducing this, I only provided this information for either people who were licensees of our company, or if we were certifying them. And those programs are $20,000 to $25,000 programs. And so what we decided to do, my team and I, coming into this new year, hearing all the news about a recession and about how people are going out of business and how industries are collapsing and there's a lot of disruption going on, and entrepreneurs don't even know how to really navigate through these shark-infested bloody waters of business, I wanted to share with you and my community the framework, the blueprint, the process that I've used to create a six-figure coaching business, six-figure consulting business, and a six-figure educational business. All three separate businesses, all three generate six figures and above. And I want you to do the same thing. And all you have to do is educate yourself. Once you get educated, put that education to practice so that you can build an infrastructure for a six-figure business. And so the Coaching Bootcamp, it is one online course that teaches you my 20-point process for coaching and consulting. And it also includes a one-day training event called our Coaching Bootcamp. So literally, you can take the online courses, get access instantly today, and then you can make plans to join me 6 weeks from now for our first in-person or virtual coaching boot camp. Imagine if you had all the 20 points that I use to build a six-figure coaching business or consulting business or education business, and then you knew how to put programs together. You knew how to put your packages together. You knew how to price them. I show you all that in this online course and in our one-day event. And one of the reasons why I wanted to put this type of program together, because number one, I want you to have videos that you can get educated and trained on at your own time. From the comfort of your home, when you're driving to and fro work, whatever the things are that you're doing, you can educate yourself. But then I wanted to make sure that we had a one-day event that we can converge together, because I want to make sure you've learned all the 20 points. And so if you're interested, which you should be way more than interested, you should be like desperate to get out of the whatever the rat race you're in. If your business, your operational business, is not making enough money, one of the things that you can do to change that is reposition yourself as a coach and a consultant, and it automatically increases the value of your operational business. So I want to get you started. I want to get you onboarded. I want to give you access to the online coaching bootcamp today so that you could start training and educating. And then I want you to schedule to be with me either in person or virtually for our first day of training that we're going to host 6 weeks from now, Saturday, March the 25th. So all you have to do is text the word coach. Just text the word coach to 678-276-8253. Again, 678-276-8253. I want you to get educated. So I have 20 points that I teach you to build a six-figure coaching business. I teach you about the industry of coaching and consulting. I explain to you the difference between the two. I teach you about the categories, whether it's business consulting, financial consulting, life coaching, relationship coaching, spiritual coaching. I teach you how to acquire clients. I teach you client acquisition, client onboarding. I teach you client services. How do you actually provide the services? What process do you need to have to walk them through? How do you assess them? How do you help them identify with their goals? How do you help them put a game plan together? How do you work with them with the blind spots that they have and the pain points that they have? How do you put together a strategy and a solution to walk with them along the way? How do you provide coaching? Do you provide one-on-one coaching or one-to-many coaching? Do you have contracts and agreements for your coaching, for your education, for your consulting? Or do you have programs for coaching and consulting? Do you have courses? Do you have services? Do you have hybrid programs that make up a little bit of all three? We show you the ins and outs of building a six-figure coaching business. And all you have to do is text the word coach to 678-276-8253. So I hope today brought some value to you. If it did, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to put in the comments what your biggest takeaway was from today's show. What was your biggest takeaway from today's show? I really, really want to know. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me today on the Ramon Preston Show. Of course, we will be back here tomorrow, Friday, same place, same time, 12 o'clock noon, right here on the Ramon Preston Show. And don't forget, leave your takeaway in the comments. And I know you're ready. You might be a little apprehensive and reluctant, but just reach out to us and let us share with you information about this course and this program and how it can help you. And maybe you just have some questions you need answered. I would love for my team and I to have an opportunity to speak with you and answer those questions, but you just need to text coach to 678-276-8253. Until tomorrow, have an amazing day, and we'll be back here 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time.